G'day, I'm Hugh Bowman. Today I want to talk about business systems. You see, you might be thinking you need business systems, but not quite sure how valuable they will be for you, or what sort of ones that you should have in the first place. So in that case, you're in the right place, because today I'm going to cover why you should have business systems and all the most commonly wanted or sought after business systems that tradies want that I've run into when I work with them. So here we go. First of all, they are absolutely essential, because if you ever want to be able to pass a task onto someone else in your business, unless you've got a system, there's no way you can do it reliably. For example, if you just do it verbally to one guy and the guy moves on or he's not there and you want to get someone else to do it, that you have to teach them all over again. And so without a documented or written system, there's no way that can be very effective at all. And of course, if you ever want to grow your business, you need to be able to pass on tasks that you're currently doing to someone else so that you can focus on the most valuable things in the business. Needless to say, if you want your business to ever grow or ever to be more value, you need business systems. So they are absolutely essential to get you out of the rat race of merry-go-round of doing the everything at the moment, or parts of everything. Right, so that's essential. And so what are the most common things that people want? Now, the ones that I often probably ranked in almost in order here is job management systems. So we're talking like ServiceMate or Simpro or Fergus and the like. So how do you use that? Because you're going to get someone in your office to try and use it too. So, and you also have your guys who might use the apps when they're on sites. So we need to somehow record that system so that they can do it reliably. You're going to continually employ people, and you're going to want them to be able to pick it up fairly easily without you having to do it manually, verbally, teaching them one by one. Right, job management systems. Quoting, that's the next one. So, if you're doing smaller jobs, for example, you're going to want someone to help quote the small jobs, and especially invoicing jobs under $1,000 and the like. So again, there's systems for that. Accounting system. So I use QuickBooks. So, I've got a little system around reconciling and entering new customers so my admin people can, send the first invoices, for example. Scheduling. Now, obviously scheduling can be in the job management system, but how much gaps do you have between jobs, and how many jobs should you fit into a day, when you've got someone else scheduling for you? Customer service. So now we're talking about, how do you want the job to be finished? Is there a tick-off list? Is there photos to be uploaded? We need to put that all into one spot. Sales process. Now we're thinking like, who sends out the quotes and who does the follow-ups and that kind of thing. KPIs, like what sort of reporting or KPIs do you have? And how often do you need them produced? I talk about the end of month ones, but sometimes every week is pretty important. And this is my favourite, team meeting agenda. You want to be able to have an agenda that the guys can follow through and have a team meeting even when you're not around, because you want them to make sure they're all fully aware of what's happening on the whole business. Equipment maintenance. I had a client who had a system around cleaning their CNC machine and servicing the edge bander and even doing the toilets. So if you document that, you can get the apprentices to do it or someone else in the business. When return materials is another sore point, this one. Guys go to site and come back with a ute load of bolts and timber and copper and the like. What do they do with it? If they're rushing off, it gets dropped there. And sometimes they get a build-up of this leftover stuff from job that needs to be sorted out. So what's the system around doing that? So there's a whole lot of what's and the whys, but the next big step is how to do it. Well, that has to be in my next blog. So find the link below and we'll take you straight there. Thanks for listening.